Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome to another episode. Now, I know it has been a while since we've made a video, but the reasoning has been is that the news has just been physically relatively quiet, or that the news that has come out has gotten a little bit repetitive. But we do have some brand new information that I want to get on to really be able to share with you guys, which is really about the fact that there is now a brand new bill that has actually now officially been approved. So it's not just a thought, it's not just a proposal, but it's a bill that is now officially approved in order to make housing prices more affordable. And I think that it's very fair to say is that hopefully you can relate, and feel free to comment down any thoughts or stories below. But the idea is that, like, in our country right now, there is obviously a very massive home affordability crisis. It is very expensive to own a home, and unless you are someone that works in tech, law, finance, or some very prestige profession, for the majority of Americans, probably most people watching this, including myself, who does not work in tech, law, finance, or STEM, or any kind of prestigious profession, becoming a homeowner is very particularly challenging and difficult. I think it's very fair to say that, certainly for the average American. Well, what's new and changing now, which is really great news in my opinion, is that under this new bill, which we finally have a new bill after a while, because they haven't really had a new bill, let alone approve of a brand new bill. Under this brand new approved bill, we will now hopefully start to see housing prices become a lot more affordable. So in today's episode, what I really want to talk about is all of the details in this specific brand new bill that was just approved. I want to talk about what was included and what was not included, and what this basically means for our economy in general. So with that being said, let's get started. So this is a brand new bill that's called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. And so it was a bipartisan bill that gained support from both parties, which is the really good news, both Democrats and Republicans. It was a bipartisan bill that was supported by both parties, and that was ultimately put onto President Donald Trump's desk, where essentially he originally delayed it because he wanted other policies, or he wanted to prioritize other kinds of things to handle within America. But finally, at the very end of the day, in mid-July of 2026, he signed on to that document and approved it. And so the first couple of points that we want to talk about, or the first of many couple of points that we want to talk about that's going to be inside of this bill, is really about how it hopes to deal with investors. And because the story behind this one is that, if you don't know, is that many of the properties that exist in our country are not actually owned by average people like us. They're actually owned by investors, or very rich, powerful investors that will buy up tons and tons of homes in order to invest and then grow their empire, to make it further. And so because of that reason, a lot of the corporations or rich investors and conglomerates who own a lot of these homes, they obviously keep buying more and more in order to become even richer and richer, leaving a lot of other people behind. Blackstone, for example, purchased a ton back in 2008 at the bottom of the housing market, and then others did very similar during the pandemic years as well. Well, under this brand new bill, what's going to be changing and happening is that it's going to put a limit where now investors are limited to being able to own only 350 homes. So they cannot own more than 350 homes anymore, which sounds like a lot, because 350 homes is a lot of houses, but the reality is that many of these investors, and I found this actually very shocking too, and maybe again feel free to comment down your thoughts below, but many investors actually own several hundreds and hundreds of homes because they've accumulated that much property over the years. Especially real estate conglomerates or real estate developers that really built up and pumped up a lot of these homes over the years to own, they actually genuinely own over 350 homes, which is really crazy. So under this brand new policy, what they want to do is that they want to encourage it so that the actual homes now are being owned by actual middle class people who want to live in these homes, and not just classic investors that are just pumping on and building their empire and expanding it to become even richer than they already are. So that's really the first policy behind that one. Now, the second policy that's really going to be implemented is really about the regulations. And so how this one works is that essentially when you want to actually live in a home, there's obviously a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of just knowledge that you have to know about how home ownership even physically works, because this is obviously something that's not taught in school, even though it really should be. But because of a lot of these regulations, what this bill hopes to do is to increase, or rather to increase the knowledge, but also the ease of the regulations of what it actually takes to physically become a homeowner and the process itself. They want to essentially make it a lot more efficient, not just for people to buy homes, but also, interestingly, something less talked about is for people that want to build homes as well. So this basically applies to things like construction companies. If you are either someone that's trying to buy land to build a home, or if you run a construction company, or just if you have a construction company in general, what this is going to do is that it's going to make it easier for a lot of construction companies to actually physically pump out homes, so that it's physically able to build up more and more and more property, increasing the supply of the homes inside of our market to hopefully control the prices and reduce them even further. So I think that's just something that's very, very interesting that I think is very, very needed inside. Basically, increase supply, cheapen the homes, or certainly make them increase less in value over the years, control the prices, and then homes become a lot more affordable for that reason. Now, the next thing that they're really trying to include inside of this policy, or that they are including in this policy, are going to be a lot of programs related to restoration. So if you don't know, a really, really crazy fact is that many of the homes inside of our country in the United States of America are actually vacant, or they're just really, really old homes that are just not livable right now, or at least not livable with comfort. So because of that reason, one of the policies is that they really want to create programs that will encourage a lot of homes to be able to be restored again. They want to essentially try to restore vacant, empty, or just damaged, or just very old homes that are difficult to live in, and try to make them livable again. They're going to be trying to implement programs, they're going to be trying to create funding for this, and they're going to basically try to take a lot of the homes and restore them, so that there's, again, going back to what their ultimate goal is to increase the supply of homes in the market, thus control the prices even further. And I think that's probably the short and simple answer to what this third policy that we mentioned is really going to be about. But maybe now to talk about something that is not included inside of this bill is they are not planning to make getting a loan or mortgage easier. This is something that I think is really, really important, and I think that they learned, and there's a reasoning behind this one, is that because the housing market crash that happened back in 2008, 9, and 10, the reason why it happened was because they were making it so easy, or so much easier, to approve loans for families and people that really could not afford these homes to afford these homes. But what happened is that when the economy went downhill, a lot of people lost their jobs, they couldn't pay for their mortgage, and as a result they had to default on their loans or their mortgage, and because of that reason it basically crashed the housing market and led to a massive crisis where so many people were in debt at that time period and couldn't pay off their debt because of what happened, which is the reason why we had the really great recession that happened back in 2008, 9, and 10. So one thing that is not included in this bill is anything related to mortgages, anything related to the ease of creating a mortgage, anything related to loaning money, anything like that, because they don't want to repeat that mistake again. They want to make it so that while they want to make it easier for people to buy homes and build homes, they also want to make it so that the people that physically do that are people that can actually afford it. People that can actually balance out and be able to properly fund these homes with the money and the income that they currently have inside of our country right now. So that's really just some thoughts to really talk about what's not included in this home. But beyond that is that one thing to maybe add is that one thing that they are trying to encourage is a lot of individual states to come out with their own individual programs to try to include or try to manage homes and make them even more affordable even further. So many states, they might create like funding policies, programs, things for first homeowners. So people that are buying a homeowner for the people that are becoming a homeowner for the first time, they're trying to basically make it a lot easier and more accessible for those people as well. But that's something that's, going to be applying to much more of a state level. Of course, this video talked about all of the policies mostly on a national level. So things are going across all 50 states. But of course, how this is going to impact the economy, it's going to be very interesting. But one way is that it's hopefully going to make housing more affordable, and so that people like you and I, or the average person, most people that are watching this video and out there, will be able to finally become a homeowner. Because it's very difficult, especially for Gen Zs and younger generations who do not work in tech, law, finance, or any prestige profession. But with that being said, we'll see what happens in the future. We'll hopefully make more videos if there's some update that comes up. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.